Love is all there is. Love is a synonym for spirit. Every person, interaction, and experience is a holy moment of love, even when it doesn't feel that way. Within every moment of discomfort, discontent, and dis-ease, the energy of love resides within. However, we do intentionally tap into this energy in moments of struggle. Simply by choosing love time and time again, each new day. As spiritual beings, our job is not to simply pray for one's highest and best good. It is to look inside of ourselves, to see what lesson, gifts, and wisdom are presented for us. People who irritate us and moments that challenge us serve as invitations to go within and shift to love. As we go into meditation, I invite you to affirm, on this new day, I believe anything is possible. And as you bring your attention gently back to the sound of my voice, know that there is only God. There is nothing outside of it. Everything that ever was, could be, will be, or was. It is all-inclusive. It is eternal and infinite, all-knowing, all-powerful, and everywhere present, available in its entirety at every point, simultaneously. And we are each unified with it, in it, and expressing as it in infinite forms, with the freedom and the beauty and the love and the intelligence and the wisdom of all that it is. And in this consciousness of unity, I know for each of us that power and that presence lies within, and it is available. And I know that Reverend Jerry is here today to share that message and so much more as him and through him, that our musicians are inspiring us, that the fellowship is comforting and supportive, and that we are supported with the technology and all of the people here and online and everywhere at any time. There is nothing outside of this. I speak these words into the law of mind, knowing it is so, and I say, thank you, Mother, Father, God, and so it is.
Thank you.
Cahill and Delene.
Thank you, Jody. That was beautiful. It got us into a beautiful state of mind and heart. We have a song by our dear friend Carl Anthony. If you haven't heard of him, then it's Carl Anthony Music, Carl with a K. And he's just an incredible singer-songwriter. And he wrote this song called I Have a Dream, which of course is referencing Martin Luther King and his I Have a Dream speech. And this is perfect for a new day, the subject of a new day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Song. Thank you guys very, very much. So, greetings once again and welcome. So glad you're here. For those of you in this very room, we are doing a white stone ritual in a little while. And so if you didn't get a stone and a pen when you first came in, they are available on the back table because you'll need that for the ritual, and also you have a worksheet on your chair. Those of you who are with us either online or online now or later, if you would grab something to write with and on, you will need those to be fully involved in the service. So again, welcome everybody. So glad you're here. One of the things I love the most about being a minister is preparing a Sunday talk. And it's funny, I forget who it was, but I was visiting with someone not too long ago, and I used the word talk, and he said, "Well, what's that?" And I said, "Well, it's not a sermon. And I'm not a preacher because I'm not telling you what you should do or shouldn't do. I'm sharing ideas with you and my truth with you, and you get to decide what works for you and what doesn't." But I love this process of taking the idea, and a lot of time, and we get them from Centers for Spiritual Living. So we get the theme, and they give us ideas, or we can go and create our own. And so I've been thinking over the last week or so about the new year and what we're carrying with us, and our baggage or luggage, and what we're carrying, dragging, whatever you choose to call it. So my week has been all about luggage or baggage. And my week has been all about luggage and baggage. And I am convinced that life has a sense of humor, a loving, nurturing sense of humor. Life with a capital L and life with a lowercase l. So I was in Tampa, Florida for a long weekend, had a wonderful time house sitting for a dear friend of mine who's the senior minister. It's Reverend Tracy Quillen. She's the senior minister for Unity of Palm Harbor, which is a suburb of Tampa. And so I was house sitting and also dog sitting. She has Bo, who is a 170-pound Great Pyrenees. Looks like my Maggie, my white retriever Maggie, plus 1.5 times. So Bo is about 170 pounds. And she has Bella, who is about a 70-pound Bernese mountain dog. I love them and adore them, and we had such a good time, and it was so much fun. So I'm doing my thing, and I spoke on Sunday, and I did a workshop on Monday, and went to the airport on Tuesday to come home to San Diego and have all my stuff with me, and away we go. Well, you might have seen the news reports that there's been a challenge with some of the Boeing 737 MAX 900s, especially affecting Alaska Airlines and United. And United is my airline of choice, and so there are about 70 planes in their fleet that have been taken out of service while they figure out what the deal is, because that one Alaska flight, my understanding is some bolts fell out of a door panel, which can be really problematic at 30,000 feet. So got to the airport, got checked in, went through security. I'm sitting there, and my flight's on time, and life is good, and then all of a sudden, my flight's not on time. So I went back to the ticket agent and said, I have a situation here. And she said, well, I can get you to Houston, or I can get you to Chicago, or I can get you to Denver, but I can't get you to San Diego. So they put me on American, which is fine. So went to American, got all checked in, all the rest of that. Wonderful. So to make a long story even longer, Tampa is having tornado warnings and torrential thunderstorms. So I'm delayed, and then I'm delayed, and then I'm delayed, and then I'm delayed and I'm going through Chicago as the winter storm is moving into Chicago. So waited and waited and waited and waited. And Tampa, it's a beautiful airport. So, I mean, I'm not, there's food, there's, I'm warm, I'm safe, and all the rest of that. And so you just can't get there from here today. Well, don't tell anybody, but I have a little bit of a need for control. So I need to know when I'm going, where I'm going, when I'm going to get there, and all the rest of that. And of course, that was just completely out the door. And so I'm walking and I'm thinking and I'm starting to get upset. And okay, so who's to blame for? Well, Boeing, because they should have done a better job with the airplane. Okay, well, good luck with that. American, because if we'd gone out before the storm, we would have been okay. And God for the weather, right? Good luck with that, right? And the still small voice said, okay, now let's think about this. I used to travel a lot for business. I've flown, and I was thinking about it on the way in this morning, in 30 years, which is really pretty scary, but in 30 years, I've flown about 1.5 million actual air miles. And this being stuck at an airport overnight has happened 3 times. 3 times in 30 years. And the still small voice said, maybe you don't have quite so much to complain about. So, was going to miss the connection, could get to Chicago, but would miss the connection from Chicago to San Diego, and it was snowing in Chicago anyway. So got a hotel, which the airline paid for, thank you very much. Got a meal, which the airline paid for, thank you very much, and came home the next day. Got home about noon on Wednesday. My luggage, on the other hand, took the scenic route because it went to Chicago. It didn't know I was with it, so it went to Chicago and sat for a couple of days, and it got home Thursday morning, early. They delivered it, so about 1:20, I got the email saying that your luggage has been delivered. But I'm here, safe and sound, and all my worldly goods in my suitcase are here, safe and sound. I know, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yet again, another opportunity to think about what I'm carrying, what we're carrying with us into the new year. And the truth is, I can't pick up something new if my hand is full of old stuff from last year. I can't buy new and wonderful clothes and put in my suitcase if my suitcase is still full of old stuff. So my question for us is, what are we taking with us into the new year? And is it things and thoughts and ideas and experiences that resonate for us and make us feel good versus that we need to leave along the side of the road? The book I'm using, I absolutely love this book. The title is Repacking Your Bags, Lighten Your Load for the Rest of Your Life by Richard Leader and David Shapiro. And, oh, I forgot. Okay, so there's my, there's my graphic of luggage. And I love this, and at the bottom of the screen, as you see there, so there's the title, Repacking Your Bags, Lighten Your Load for the Rest of Your Life. And I was thinking about this as I was finishing things up yesterday as well. Lighten your load for the rest of your life. So not only for what we're carrying with us moving forward, but United has a 50-pound limit on your even on your big luggage. What am I carrying with me that weighs more than that? What are we carrying with us in our lives that really weighs us down that we could choose to leave along the side of the road? So we'll talk about that. I love this book. Amazon, it's an older book, but Amazon has it. Absolutely love this book. So we'll do a little work about out of the book. So in the book, they write about the packing principle. And what are you willing to trade in one area of your life to get what you want in another? The unpacking process is a matter of reviewing what you have and considering each item in light of the trade-offs you have to make to keep it. So, for example, freedom versus security, So, in a situation, don't like, doesn't make me happy, doesn't serve me, doesn't make my tail wag, but I'm staying there. And it could be a relationship, it could be a job, just whatever the situation is, because I'm there because I'm secure, versus being free to do, be, and have what I really want. Higher salary versus less responsibility. Ever been in a situation where they offer you a promotion and it's so exciting, and the still small voice says, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" Because in our work life, if it doesn't light us up, if it doesn't make our tail wag, it does. If you're dreading, and if you were ever in a situation, you know what I'm talking about, when we start to dread going to work, when we get home Friday night and spend the entire weekend thinking about how much we don't want to go to work. If that's the situation, they don't pay you enough. However much they pay you, they don't pay you enough, because we're missing out on so much time in our lives by regretting and not looking forward to doing whatever we're going to be doing. Comfort versus growth. Now, in Tampa last weekend, I talked about being radically content. There's that book that I've used before, Jamie Veron's book that I absolutely love. And we're big, and in January we're big about doing workshops and classes and all the rest of that, and that's wonderful. But do we allow ourselves to be comfortable right now? Not that I don't want to grow, not that I don't want to get better, not that I don't want more, but can I settle in where I am right now and honor myself and recognize how far I've come? And again, have that rest in our lives. Self-expression versus social approval. In the book Radically Content, Jamie writes about, and this just really rang my chime, what will they think? Oh God, there he goes again. What will they think? Do we make decisions in our lives based on, I want to do this, but they, whoever they are, might not approve? Or do we allow ourselves to listen to what is ours to do, listen to the still small voice, and make those decisions based on what lights us up versus somebody else's advice to us? Control and knowing where we are versus getting lost in the mystery. And I was in a gift shop. I was in a gift shop in the airport in Tampa, fighting with myself. Hopefully it wasn't too obvious, so people were concerned about me as they walked by. But, okay, Jerry, I know, because there's always another flight, right? There is always, it may not be United, it may not be American, it might be Spirit. It might be somebody else, with all due respect, but there's always another flight. So at some point, I will get to San Diego. I know that I am safe because I am always safe. I know my stuff will get to me eventually. I do have other clothes and other socks and other hygiene supplies when I get home. So, yes, I can get really upset about this. Or I can just allow. Do we allow ourselves to just allow? It may not turn out exactly the way we expected. It could quite possibly be better than we could have imagined, but it'll be okay. It'll absolutely, and we will be okay. And then victimhood versus peace. So I commit to you that this is the last time you will hear this story. I can get a lot of mileage out of it, but Course in Miracles reminds us I can see peace instead of this. And when we have a story of pain and suffering and inconvenience and grief and all the rest of that, it's important for us to tell it. It's important for us to feel those feelings, but then allow ourselves to move forward. Because otherwise, every time we tell that story, our bodies are feeling that trauma and that grief and that all the rest of that again. And we don't have to chew that cabbage again. We can just let it go and move on. So I promise you, and if you start to hear me talking about this, would you please remind me that done, been there, done that, enough already. I can see peace instead of this. So repacking has to do with finding the right balance between the important priorities in our lives. And the first step is to examine what we're carrying and see if it appropriately reflects the trade-offs you're willing to make in your 3 bags of life. So starting with our briefcase or our work bag. What do we do? And it's not necessarily something that you get a paycheck for, but what do we do during the day? And does it make our hearts sing? Does it light us up? Or is it more drudgery? Is it something that makes our hearts sing? Is it something that we really, a cause that we really believe in? Are we working with pets, with the homeless, with just whatever? Or are we just hitting the like button on Facebook? And with absolutely please understand there is no judgment attached here, because I find myself doing that. Well, or like that, or don't like that. Well, yes, I'm expressing my opinion. Well, that and $4 will get you a cup of coffee, you know? Yeah. So the opportunity for us is always to do something about whatever it is that lights us up. Yes, so I said that. And does our, if you work outside the home, and even if you don't work outside the home, does your environment, does your situation make you happy? And if not, what can you do about it? Because sometimes we can, if you're in a job that doesn't light you up, you can go find another job. But I don't like the word problem. The opportunity is to recognize that wherever we go, we take ourselves with us. And that was my experience for years and years. I kept getting I've got a new supervisor, and finally it's going to be somebody that I can deal with and is going to respect me and honor me and all the rest of that. And they look different, they act different, they talk different, but it's the exact same experience. And so finally, the still small voice said, what's going on here? And what belief do you bring into these relationships that you could change? And I did, and believe it or not, those experiences stopped, because life is lived from the inside out. So if it's not working for us, what can we change about our beliefs about ourselves and about that person and about the situation, so we don't have to keep having this same experience over and over again? So our briefcase is our work baggage, and then our overnight bag is our love baggage. Who are the people that we feel closest to, and do we get to spend time with them? And if we don't, is there a way that we could? If they're someplace else, if we don't get to see them in person, let's do a Zoom call. You know, I think Zoom is still free for up to 45 minutes. If you have a computer, you could get a Zoom account and Zoom with whoever it is, or FaceTime with whoever it is. But just spend a little time either in person or, thanks to technology, with those people that you love and that love you. And do our most important relationships make us happy? And if not, why not? And what do we have in our love baggage that's keeping us from that wholehearted love? So our work baggage, our love baggage, and then our place or our trunk. Home. I didn't kiss the ground when I landed in San Diego, but I wanted to. But I'm in several Facebook groups, and one of them asked, so how's the weather where you are today? And people are posting, well, if you watched the Kansas City Chiefs football game last night, it was 3, I think. You know, when you can when you can post the temperature, outside temperature on one hand, you know it's cold. So and of course just the Midwest and Seattle and my son and his family are in Oregon, and they were 3 degrees. And so many places are having winter weather, amazingly enough, since it is winter after all. And we're in the winter weather in San Diego when it's 60 degrees and wow. I know, right? Yes. Oh my goodness. What is our most prized possession at home? And do we see it? And just honor it and bless it. Because home, and I hope for you, and I know for you as I know for myself, that home is just the most amazing place, because that's where we're safe, and that's where we're secure, and that's where all is well. What makes us happy and what feels like clutter, and do we have clutter that it's time to lovingly release? Clothing, Peloton machines, just whatever we have that we might, golf clubs, just stuff that we bought, and especially during the pandemic, but even before that, boy, I'm going to do this and it's going to be wonderful and all the rest of that, and it's out there. And maybe we use it to beat ourselves up because, well, you said you were going to, and I didn't. How's our sense of community? I love this place, and I love all of you and the community that we have here, and always invite you to get more involved if you'd like. On Sunday mornings, certainly, but also throughout the week. The special events, there's a group is going to do the Old Town Trolley Tour this afternoon, I believe. We're going to do a movie next month. Just a lot of really fun stuff in our community, and so invite you to get involved in any of those that light you up. So to really unpack, we need to open each one and examine the contents and look at the accessories that we bring with us. So is there resentment and regret and anger and frustration in our work bag? Is there stuff in our family relationships or our primary relationship? Is there something that we don't need anymore and don't want anymore that we almost trip over in our place, our home? And rather than carrying all of that or any of that into the new year, can we lovingly release it so that we can move forward? Resentments, regrets, shoulds. Do we should on ourselves? Yes, all of those things that we don't have to carry with us into the new year. So we clean out the baggage and make room for something new and something wonderful. As Cahill and Delene mentioned, tomorrow is Martin Luther King Day. And you might remember the song and the statement, "We shall overcome." It was sung by enslaved people in churches and then striking tobacco workers from South Carolina. They brought the song to the Highlander Folk Museum in Mont Eagle, Tennessee in the late 1940s. So this song and this concept has been around for a really long time. Martin Luther King Jr. first heard the song at the Highlander when Pete Seeger played it in 1957, and he used it as we know, he used it in many of his own speeches. So as we look to a new day and a new year, we have the opportunity to overcome all of those situations, feelings, beliefs, all of those situations that no longer serve us. But we have to be willing to consciously unpack whatever it is so that we can step into our greater good. And by the way, do we do New Year's resolutions still? And if they do, do they work for you? Right. Yes. Yep. I was talking about this with a group, and I happened to mention if it looks like a carbon copy from the year before. And there were some people in the audience that looked at me kind of strangely because they didn't know what a carbon copy was. So now when I say that, I'm like, if you don't remember carbon paper, come up to me afterwards, or I don't want to hear about it, one or the other. But a Xerox or a duplicate of last year's and the years before and the year before. Scan copy. Yes, there we go. With your smartphone, right? Yes. So Jamie Veron, the author of Radically Content, also does an email newsletter, and she wrote about New Year's resolutions. And she wrote, somewhere along the way, we all collectively forgot that resolutions were meant to improve our lives, not make them an endless to-do list, imbued with pressure and comparison, and my words, and shame and guilt. Well, Jerry, you said you were going to do that. What's your problem, right? Yes. If they're not improving our lives, if they don't light us up, we have the opportunity to maybe look and decide, maybe we don't want to do that anymore. So she wrote the guiding values: return to the simple joys, be exactly me. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that suggestion, and I'll decide if that's true for me or not. But be exactly me. Feel gratitude for the blank blackboard. And again, you might remember, do they still have those in school? I don't know if they do or not. No, they have whiteboards with the no more chalk, no blackboards and chalk and erasers. Oy vey. Yeah. Oh, right, because you gotta. Yes. Okay. But feel gratitude that we have the blank board for this year, but also this day. Because we're always creating something, consciously or unconsciously. Why not create something amazing and wonderful? And then allow ourselves to be uncomfortable. Because to release that, sometimes it takes a little work and a little... But we have to allow ourselves to do that so that we can move forward. So we allow ourselves to unpack, to look at what this is, to decide if it resonates for us or not, so that we can move forward into this wonderful new year. So what's next for us? We're going to do the white stone ritual this morning. So I invite you to take your stone in your hand, and I want to tell you just a little about this experience, starting with a clean slate. And during this process, we're going to find a new name for ourselves. The white stone is an ancient ritual. In Jesus' day, when someone served time in prison or in bondage of any kind, they were given a white stone when they were released. Each of us come from bondage or with some attachments in this new year and this new day, and so there is the opportunity to decide what's new and what's possible for us. In Revelations 2, verse 17, John writes about people being given a new name. And I will give a white stone, and on the white stone is written a new name that no one knows except the one who receives it. So I invite you to just, for a moment, get comfortable where you are, and let's go into a brief meditation. So releasing thoughts of later today or tomorrow, releasing thoughts of earlier this morning, releasing thoughts of how it should be or what we should or shouldn't do. We just allow ourselves to be fully present, consciously aware of our oneness with the God presence, consciously aware of this still small voice that is always loving, always nurturing, always tells us what we need to know. And I invite you to take the white stone in your hand and know it as a symbol of a new day, a new year, and new possibilities. See it as a symbol of who you have become, or of who you are becoming, or who you would like to become. Know that you are the essence, expression, and experience of spirit, that you are the beloved. In this moment, you are whole, complete, and perfect. Right now, you are loved and supported by the presence of spirit. So this white stone is the promise of new possibilities and a new life. It's the symbol of a clean slate. Whatever has gone on in the past, anything that doesn't serve us, that we've brought with us in our luggage, we just let it go. We are free to move forward in abundance, in perfect health, in great joy. So begin to reflect on a new name. The name could be an attribute of spirit, light, life, love, peace, power, beauty, joy, anything that comes up for you. It could be published author, clean and sober, grateful, whatever resonates for you. Let's take just a couple of minutes, just take a minute or so in the silence and see what comes up for you. And if something does come up, I invite you to write it on your white stone. Might be a quality of God, might be your divine purpose, might be your next occupation, whatever comes up for you. And if not, that's okay. I invite you to take just be aware and listen. We always, when I took my practitioner test, they reminded me, and the still small voice reminded me, I always know what I need to know when I need to know it. So I invite you to if it hasn't come up for you, I invite you to take it with you and just be aware of it today and jot down on the white stone whatever comes up for you. And join me in the light for just a second. So we give great thanks for the opportunity to ask, seek, and knock. To ask what is next for us, what attribute of spirit is next for us, what joyful experience is next for us, and allow us to listen. We allow ourselves to listen and to be told and use that as our new name. We give thanks for the opportunity to always choose a new name, to always choose a new experience and release what no longer serves us. For this day, we give great thanks. Together we say, and so it is. So moving forward, we have a worksheet. And so thinking of if a new name or a new experience came up for you, or if you're pretty sure what you're doing in 2024, that's okay, either way. But our questions have to do with the 7 essentials for repacking, starting with our passport, a sense of purpose and a reason for the trip. Do we have that? Do we know? Do we know what we're doing this year? Have we decided? If we have it, that's great. If we need it, that's great too. Just make a notation if you'd like where you are in the scheme of things, whether we have it or we need it. Do we have our baggage? And is it still full? Or does it have room for new things? Baggage, luggage, whatever words you choose. Our map and our sense of direction. What's going on this year? And even if we didn't do resolutions, do you have an idea of what's next for you? No pressure, but what's next? What's next for us? What greater good will we allow Spirit to bring us? Traveler's checks. I don't know if they still make those or not, but back in the day, Thomas Cook, you might remember, go to the bank and get your Thomas Cook traveler's checks, because we do need enough money to enjoy the trip. And if that's an issue, there's always an opportunity for us to look at what we believe about our financial good and make the changes as we need to. Our address book, contacts with the people that we love. Do we have it or do we need it? Our travel journal. So the lessons from the past trips. Journal or journals. Yes, yep, looks like the New York City white pages, but all those wonderful lessons. And then our adventuring spirit. What's next? If money were no object, because it's not, if health is no object, because it doesn't have to be, if relationships were no object, because they don't have to be, what's next for us? Because that's what we're here for, is to do, be, and have all those things as the beloved that make our hearts sing and our tails wag, and whatever expression you want to choose. But that's what we're here to do. What's putting us over the 50-pound limit in our luggage that we can lovingly release to pick up and create something new and something wonderful? We don't have to schlep last year into this year, or 20 years before into this year. We're free to choose and free to make wonderful new decisions. But we have to take the first step. And Martin Luther King Jr. said, faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase. I don't know how I'm going to, but how often do we just go and sit down because we don't know how to do it? And how delicious is it when we make the choice to not know how to do it, but allow that. Again, we'll know what we need to know when we need to know it. And allow, because remember in the Beatitudes, Jesus said, ask, seek, and knock. Are we banging on the door? Spirit, I don't know how to do this. And then allow ourselves to listen to what's next for us. Allow ourselves to take that new name that we gave ourselves, that new possibility for ourselves, and do what we need to do. And when we do this, we give other people permission to do the same. Because it's not pie. I was talking to somebody, I forget who it was, and the fact that my good has absolutely nothing to do with your good, and your good has nothing to do with my good, because we're all using the same power. It's not pie. There's always more than enough. So with that in mind, join me in the light for just a minute. So in the peace and the quiet of this moment, we give great thanks for this moment, for the opportunity to be together today, for this beloved spiritual community, for this experience. And moving forward in this new day and this new month and this new year, we allow ourselves to say, yes, thank you, and more, please. I don't need this anymore. It doesn't serve me. It doesn't make my tail wag. And instead, I want this. Because in every moment, we are always divinely guided and supported in making those new choices to make this year ridiculously wonderful. So we allow that. We just allow that to be so. For our time together, for our beloved community, we give great thanks. Together we say, and so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Jerry.
Yeah.
Let's have a big hand.
Thank you.
That was a beautiful